Monday Night Wars podcast.
Hello and welcome. I did that while you were drinking, so you could be embarrassed.
What if I did a spit take, Rick, all over the mic?
Oh my God. And then your mic would break and we couldn't do the show anymore.
What if I did a spit take all over the camera and then you got splashed?
Bro, interactive. we should work on that. With all of our big Patreon bucks,
Absolutely.
We should do more interactive. Yeah. Like Friday the 13th, the 3D one. Where they're just doing just stupid stuff like putting the what's it called?
Hatchet, pitchfork?
No, pitchfork. That's it. When the guy's doing the pitchfork stuff, it's like. Anyways, this is the Monday Night Wars, July 14th. I got that right?
Correct.
Yes, because sometimes I get my notes mixed up. July 14th, 1997, and we are at the Orlando Arena in Orlando, Florida, if you can believe it. This is WCW Nitro with Joseph, Scott, Tony, Larry, and Mike Tenay. And Michael Buffer, who they pay an astronomical amount of money to introduce the Nitro Girls.
Yes, that's the best part.
The Nitro Girls.
They don't pay him to introduce a match. They pay him to introduce the Nitro Girls. Insanity.
Yes. It's wild. But we got the Nitro Girls, and then we got stills from Bash at the Beach
Hold on.
Whoa.
We can't just skip the Nitro Girls. I got a lot written here.
Okay.
On the Nitro
My
Girls.
God, okay. Tell me about the Nitro
Actually,
Girls.
funny that you mentioned that. My very first note, though, was they paid Michael Buffer a crap ton to showcase the Nitro Girls. So I'm really glad you touched on it.
Yes.
The next thing I need to say is this is the debut of the Nitro Girls. Do the thing, Scott!
I was gonna try and do it like in a dance, but I couldn't. But there's not another one of me to be slightly out of sync with, so I just decided I'd just do it normal.
So, in case you're wondering, the Nitro Girls, which is essentially WCW, if you're not a WCW fan, if you grew up only watching WWF, which a fair number of our listeners have, the WCW Nitro Girls were brought in, essentially the cheerleaders for WCW, and they were brought in as a vehicle for Kimberly Page, led by Kimberly Page. And Kimberly Page, and remember, they're all dancing, is never, ever in sync with the rest of them at any point. And it's hilarious how literally every time they dance, she's just off. Every single time. Scott and I, as you guys know, are ahead on our watch, and they're still doing this. We try to guess how long it will take for her to flub the routine. And we love Kimberly Page, but it's insane.
It's usually instant. Yeah.
You can always see her like looking at the other girls like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know if they don't practice or what, but she never knows what's going on.
It's crazy. Well, as you said, they create the Nitro Girls, which seems to be just a vehicle for Kimberly Page, DDP's wife.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because she's not a dancer. She's never been a dancer. Nope. She has a degree from Auburn University, which is a real, legitimate, good school in Alabama, in public relations and journalism. So I don't understand why they thought this was the vehicle for her. And the women they put around her are serious, professional dancers.
Very good.
They
Very
are
good at what they're doing. Yes.
They're good at what they do. But taken together, when they're so good and she's not, it's just noticeably bad.
And the best part is she starts in the front when this
Yes.
debuts. She's front and center. And as the months go on, she just kind of slides further in back because they're just like, we got actual people that we pay to do this. It's chef's kiss. I love it.
Why wouldn't you just make Kimberly another, like, interview person? Like,
Yeah.
obviously you have Mean Gene, but he can be like the front of the house kind of guy, and then you go backstage to Kimberly who's talking with somebody, right? Like
Yeah.
WWF does that. They have multiple people,
Right.
different places trying to get the story. That's what she does. That's
Yeah.
what she went to school for.
Well, she went to school for it, but she has one of them female degrees. So they don't trust that in Southern WCW.
She has a master's degree in advertising from Northwestern University. Again, another prestigious university.
And I can't be more clear on this. Kimberly Page, like, we like Kimberly Page. When she was the valet for DDP, she was great. I like her in the storyline that they have with Mach. She's good on screen. I have no problem watching her on screen. She doesn't just have a look. She's very talented and she can do things. Just let her do what she's good at and just do that. It's wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But not as crazy as what happened last night. And we've got some stills from it where I'm going to spoil this, Joseph. I know we got to listen to the pod, but it's kind of, it's not important. It's not important to the plot, but a 7-foot tall Sting attacked the Giant last night. And our announce table was completely believed it was Sting. But tonight, they're not so sure.
Yeah. Now that they watch the replay, they don't know.
Which, again, it's like, I can get maybe, they're far away.
Yeah.
They can't see the difference in height. But when the dude is as tall as the Giant, it's probably not Sting.
Oh, my God.
That brings us to our first match, which is Prince Iakea versus Alex Wright for 2 minutes. Tell me about Alex Wright and Prince Iakea for 2 minutes. I was kind of excited about this match until I wasn't.
I was too. We like both these guys. Like Prince Iakea, we love Alex Wright. Ronnie, still got your signed photo of you. I got to frame it. I need to frame it. I've been saying that for months. I need to frame it. And by the way, Ronnie,
Love it.
Scott is coming to visit me, so I will make sure that we sign that shirt for you, and then we will try to get it back out. But that is on the horizon. We've not forgotten you, Ronnie. Love you, dude. Anyways,
never forget Ronnie.
Never.
Before every pay-per-view, we do a short little prayer. we say it for Ronnie.
Well, let's not lie to the guy.
Let's do a good show for Ronnie. You know what? It's not a lie if I start doing it, and I'm going to.
He will. The minute that I catch that Scott is in a lie, he will dig his heels in and he will go all in on that thing. Anyways, let's talk about this match. Wright has a picture-in-picture where he outlines why he should be getting a push that he just missed the boat on and Bischoff could never have done anything about.
This is a good storyline. Let's do something with it.
Oh, man. I like Prince Iakea. You like Prince Iakea, but someone in WCW really doesn't like Prince Iakea. Giant walks out and he choke slams the ref, then the Prince, and Alex Wright is like, nah, I'm gonna head out. And he bounces. So Alex Wright doesn't get destroyed, luckily. Security comes out, but they do get destroyed by him. And security is almost always, this is common wrestling knowledge in case you don't know. Security is almost always wrestlers. They're there for a spot usually. So that way, if they get roughed up, they're wrestlers. They know how to take it. It's it's what they get paid to do, right? So you rarely use real security people if you can avoid it. So these are wrestlers. What's hilarious is they are very clearly unmasked luchadors. Viano 4 is one of them. It's very clearly Viano 4. It's the exact same shape as Viano 4. And Psychosis is another one. let's see. Then, by the way, Nash is done. Giant talked about how he's done with Nash and the NWO. I'm sorry. Giant's upset. He grabs a mic. Now he's done with Nash.
Yes.
He's done with the NWO. He says he knows it wasn't Sting last night and that it was in fact Nash. So Giant knew seemingly before anybody. And then he tells Nash that he wants him as we head to commercial. I guess that's all right, but I look at it and I go, I wanted this match, so I'm giving it a D.
This could have been okay, but they ruined my Prince Iake Alex Wright match. That was mistake number one.
Uh-huh.
I feel like if you're gonna do this, do it with some jobbers.
Yes,
Don't
I
do it
agree.
with some of your actual like talent who have storylines. You're kind of working storylines with them. Don't have them get jobbed out in the middle of a storyline where his whole premise is that he deserves a title shot, and then you just job him out to the Giant immediately.
It's so unfortunate that Alex Wright was just on the wrong time, because they give him this storyline and immediately squash it. It's so unfortunate that he just wasn't in the right era of wrestling.
My God. Yeah, but as you said, Giant's upset. He choke slams all of them. Everybody gets choke slammed again. And he gets on the mic and he says, I know that 7-foot-tall Sting wasn't Sting. He's figured it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And he wants Kevin Nash. And he wants Kevin Nash right now. But then we go to commercial and we get our next match.
Yeah.
Also, those are 2 or 3 reasons that was a bad segment. The other issue with that segment is that there simply were not enough Vianos.
When you're right, you're right.
Yeah. Wouldn't that have been great if Vianos kept coming out and getting choke slammed? There's like 15 of them. Just that'd been good. What about if this had been a Viano versus somebody else and Giant interferes and then all the Vianos come out and he's got to fight
from
all
underneath the ring?
That'd
Every single one of them pops out from underneath the ring.
That would have been hot.
I'm back on
That
board.
would have been hot.
I'm back on board.
Yes. But speaking of being back on board, after that, I'm off. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about this.
Mhm.
But they immediately get me back on board with our next match because we got Eddie Guerrero versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. for 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Should be longer. Tell me, Joseph.
I agree. The story here is that Eddie is trying to make Chavo a man, so he is actually attacking him and bullying him and trying to toughen him up. Chavo is obviously never going to win this match, but it is a very good match and very enjoyable. And then Hector Guerrero, the older Guerrero, actually comes out. And Hector Guerrero, he confronts Eddie. He is not okay with what's happening, and he actually pushes him down. And then, Eddie pushes Hector down and he walks away. And we have ourselves a fantastic storyline of brothers feuding, and we're getting the Eddie we want. I really should say we pretty much have him. I mean, he is fantastic week in and week out. He's now become something I look forward to seeing on Nitro. And Hector will have some fun moments in the next few weeks with this, as well as Chavo. I gave this an A. I love everything that's going on with it.
It is so amazing how the week Eddie goes heel, he's already Latino heat. I mean, obviously he's not saying Latino heat and that sort of stuff, but he's already got the character. It's like immediate. It's really impressive how he just immediately knew he had something and ran with it.
Yeah.
And it's great. You're right. He wins with a frog splash, and then he goes back up after and gives Chavo another frog splash. And that's what brings out Hector Guerrero. He's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, we're family. And Eddie tells him, pushes Hector down, and then he goes in the camera, Joseph. I love the onboard mic. He says if Hector doesn't like it, he should do something about it.
Damn.
And I was like, hell yeah, I like this. We got stories that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
But that brings us to a story I don't care about. Because Mean Gene is interviewing Diamond Dallas Page with Kimberly of the Nitro Girls. And DDP is quite fed up with this Kurt Hennig character that he met in a bar in Minneapolis a couple months ago. And apparently that's why he was his partner. Like, he just pound a couple beers. Hey, you should be my mystery partner at Bash at the Beach. Anyways, Joseph, what did you make of this? The starting of a rivalry between DDP and Kurt Hennig.
Yes. Well, I mean, the rivalry technically started last night, but
Yeah.
if you want to hear about $2 a month on our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy thing with this is that, you said this is a storyline that you don't like, and I agree 100%, but it has all the fixings of something that we should love.
Fixings.
It's got DDP, who we love. It's got Kurt Hennig, who we love, and a horrible story. Hopefully it gets better. We'll see over the next few weeks if it gets better. I don't think it does, but hey, whatever. So DDP outlines the reasons that he chose Kurt Hennig instead of specifically, and I'm going to repeat it, specifically, he wanted to choose Sting. But he said that Sting's bailed him out too many times, so that his next choice was Luger and or Giant. But they already had a match, and then he gives them some congratulations for winning that. He then ends up choosing Hennig, who of course betrayed him last night. There you go. He says he doesn't get mad, he gets even. And it doesn't matter how many times he gets knocked down. It matters how many times he gets back up. And then of course, he does bang. Honestly, the promo itself is good, so I'm giving it a B. Like, I think he did a pretty good job of trying to make it work. DDP, by this point, is really finding his voice on the mic. He's already done great promos, but now he's really understanding how to weave a story in it and not just put himself over. So I really, really enjoyed him. Giving it a B. He does well. I think at some point, it's either tonight or next week, like Kurt Hennig has to address it. He really doesn't say much, and it's like, cool. All right. Awesome. Anyways, it's fine.
Yeah, DDP's great. Kurt Hennig's great. That's not my beef, right? My beef is that this storyline, heel Kurt Hennig, does not make sense in the grand scheme of the storyline. And we'll learn more as we go on. But we got some Nitro Girls. and Kimberly is out of sync. But we have Nitro Girls.
We do.
And then we have Mean Gene again, because we use that as a segue to get the Harlem Heat out with Mean Gene, because they're going against the Outsiders in a non-title match tonight.
Mm-hmm.
How exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Can you dig it? This one gets kind of weird, Joseph. Tell me about it.
It does. So Gene outlines, and I think rightfully so, that NWO does not take Harlem Heat seriously. He specifically talks about the fact that they keep having Vincent help them win matches because they'd rather go against them than other people. Great. I'm on board. And then Booker T specifically says that this is not 1962 and they are not Lee Harvey Oswald. So there's a topical reference for you. Beyond that, not a whole lot happens in this promo. I don't know why we're here, but we are. They gave it their all. I'm giving it a C.
And JFK was assassinated in 1963. But who's counting? I also noted that Stevie Ray says it's going to be a ghetto street fight. So there's that.
I have a theory.
That's very exciting.
I have a theory. Okay. So
tell me.
Well,
about the ghetto street fight?
No, not about the ghetto street fight. First, I need to look up something real quickly. I need to go on the old
You're gonna Google machine it.
Clickety clacker. Okay. Okay. So and I need to look up one more thing here.
November 22nd, 1963. If that
okay, perfect. No, that's not. Yeah, that's not what I need to look up. Okay.
Okay.
So, Booker T was born in 1965. Okay.
Oh.
So timeline doesn't work. However, his older brother Stevie Ray born in 1958. So hear me out. Here's my point. Because he said this is not 1962, which you pointed out is the incorrect date. It's 1963, right?
Yes.
And that Lee Harvey Oswald was basically, he's kind of alluding as like a scapegoat in this situation.
Oh.
So my theory is Stevie Ray killed JFK and Booker T knows about it, which is why he knows that Lee Harvey Oswald is a scapegoat and why he said 1962, because that's when the plan was formed. Prove me wrong.
Oh. The conspiracy was
Yeah.
hatched in
Absolutely.
1962.
5-year-old Stevie Ray
Was on the grassy
hilltop.
knoll.
Yeah.
Wow. You've heard it here first.
Trump doesn't need to release.
Stuff.
I figured it out.
Booker T is giving us
Yes.
the information.
100%.
I tell you, this is why Nitro keeps bringing us back. Because on just any given Nitro, the Kennedy assassination could be unraveled.
Absolutely.
That's why you got to tune in.
That's what you call long-term storytelling.
Yeah, that's huge.
Absolutely.
That's huge. But what's also huge is these 4 big men slapping meat.
Absolutely.
And that's what we got in our next match. We got Rick and Scott Steiner versus Vicious and Delicious, Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton. 6 minutes, 45 seconds. And I've got only one question for you, Joseph, before I let you go.
Okay.
Which one's Vicious and which one's Delicious? Because I'm not so sure.
So are you saying that Scott Norton could potentially be Delicious?
You tell me.
Okay. I had nowhere to go with that. I was trying, man. I was trying. I threw the reel out and it
Fricking.
nothing bit on that.
Really makes you think, is all I'm saying.
I used a lot of brain power to connect the Lee Harvey Oswald thing. I was not ready to do that one. All right.
No, it's bigger. This goes deeper than that.
All right. So this is a pretty standard tag team match. We do get a lot of the Buff Bagwell comparing his body to Scott Steiner thing. And then we have a limo show up backstage. And real quickly, the him comparing his body to Scott Steiner, that will become a very big storyline in, I think, the next year. It's definitely not soon, but it will happen. So we have his limo show up outside. And then Conan comes out of the limo with the rest of the NWO guys. So he has clearly joined the NWO, but we're not quite certain if he has, but he clearly has. Chono and then Masahiro Chono and Muda interfere somehow with being completely outnumbered. Scott and Rick Steiner beat up the entire NWO. Obviously, there's no Hall, Nash, or Hogan, but like, if they could do this the whole time, then why aren't they the ones in the front lines just beating everybody? We've seen the same thing yesterday with Luger, where he just superheroed everyone. Now they're superheroing everyone. How have they ever lost if this is possible? It makes no sense. WCW booking is so awful right now. I'm giving this one a C because I do like the match up to this point. I just hate the booking of it.
It's a good match. Yeah, and you're right. Scott just goes suplex city on everybody. Kind of like yesterday. Just everybody seems to be completely unable to defeat Scott when he's given everyone suplexes, which again, when you're doing a suplex, kind of vulnerable. You know, it's just like, but apparently not. Yeah. Again, it's like, I feel again hypocritical because we have been complaining night after night, week after week, month after month, that WCW needs to get some offense. It can't always be the NWO just wrecking havoc on everybody. But you don't solve that problem. Like maybe they've realized they kind of have a problem with this, but you don't solve that problem by just suddenly deciding that everyone's going to Hulk out on them.
Yeah.
Like that's not how you solve this.
Right.
It's weird.
All you had to do with this is give another tag team to help even things up. That's it. Now you have 2 sets of tag teams feuding now, and it works. Throw in any other tag team, Public Enemy, for Christ's sake, someone. Throw them in. They even up the score. Now it's 4-4, and the faces win. Fine, I'm on board. But instead, it's just like, no, these guys could beat up everybody the whole time. Cool.
Well, let's see what Mean Gene's got to say, because Mean Gene is ringside with Raven. And we got a tease last night that there was going to be an announcement tonight on Nitro, and Mean Gene wants the scoop. He says, "What is the announcement, Raven?" And Joseph, what does Raven say?
Nothing.
There is no announcement. That's the announcement.
Yeah.
And then Stevie Richards.
I think this has a
Oh, you
payoff.
gonna go? Okay.
I think this has a pay. No, I'm gonna let you go in a second, but I think this has a payoff at some point, but it's real weird.
Yeah. So Mean Gene goes up and says, "What's the announcement? We heard there's an announcement." And Raven says more of his Raven stuff, and then that the announcement is there is no announcement. Stevie Richards seems confused by this, and he starts to talk and says, "You said if I sign a contract with WCW, then kablammy!" He gets knocked out again by Raven, and I guess we'll never know. So there you go.
Yep.
The information died with Stevie Richards on July 14th, 1997. But speaking of dying, that's a bad, I shouldn't do.
You can't.
In hindsight, you can't unring that bell. But
That can't be the transition.
see, it wasn't going to be about Benoit, though. It was going to be about Mike Enos.
But there's no way to not connect that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Benoit versus Mike Enos. That's a match. 3 minutes, 47 seconds. It starts with a promo from Benoit because Kevin Sullivan's gone now, we think, maybe. Tell me about it, Joseph. Salvage this for us.
I just love you can't unring that bell. Nope. All right. I will try to compose myself. Well, I talk about this pretty decent segment, in my opinion. Benoit has a picture-in-picture where he tells Sullivan that this was a lot more than just a battle. It was a personal problem, but he's taken care of his personal problem. And hopefully, we're finally done with this thing. Apparently, that was for Sullivan's career, so it shouldn't continue. The match they had at Great America, or Bash at the Beach, rather. So we shouldn't see this continue, but for some reason, I'm bringing it up again. So hopefully, we actually are done. You never know. WCW may pull it out today. We have no idea. Anyways, we get a surprisingly lengthy match, but Benoit wasn't going to lose this at any point. Like you mentioned in reference to Mike Enos's career being unalived, which is what you clearly meant with that.
Yes. That was going to be the joke.
Yes. No. Yeah. No, I get that. I'm trying to make sure everybody's on the same page here. Mike Enos loses, and he loses when Chris Benoit locks in the crippler crossface. It's like I said, surprisingly long match. It's a decent match. Mike Enos is not a horrible wrestler, so they get a nice little back and forth. I gave it a B-.
It was all right because it's not Kevin Sullivan, so I'm going to allow it.
Yeah,
but I also feel like this match is kind of beneath Benoit. But who cares? Because we got more Nitro girls. And this time they're not dancing. They just got like sunglasses on, and then they kind of like, they lower them. They do the ooh, I'm sexy. Lower my sunglasses.
Yeah.
Kimberly's even off on that. And
if you didn't get there, I was gonna make that joke.
And after that, we go to our next match. But before the match, we get a little bit of a replay about the La Parka incident from last week, where La Parka beat the crap out of Randy Savage, but it was not La Parka.
Right.
It was DDP. And as La Parka comes out, Kimberly stays out there to give a diamond cutter. Whoa. Is La Parka the diamond stud?
Whoa.
The new diamond stud is La Parka.
That's the real swerve.
Yeah.
It's actually Scott Hall this whole time.
Wow. Yeah. So we got that, and we got our match, which I was going to make another joke about murdering, but It's got La Parka in it, so I'll take another pass.
Yeah.
Super Callow and La Parka, 49 seconds.
If only all these wrestlers in the 90s weren't problematic. Randy Savage eventually interferes in this match, and it's honestly quite funny because he's attacking La Parka for one of two reasons. Either A, he believes that La Parka is actually DDP still right now, or he blames him for allowing DDP to use his gear. Either way, DDP runs out there and he actually attacks Savage, and then Kurt Hennig comes out and hits DDP with a foreign object in his hand. So again, Hennig is going to betray the Four Horsemen in a couple of months, and how is anyone surprised by this? He's already helped the NWO on 2 consecutive nights. It becomes a whole storyline. This is wild. Mach ends up hitting his diving elbow, and DDP is laid out on the floor. Then Mean Gene interviews Kurt Hennig, and he wants to know what the heck is going on. Kurt Hennig says that if DDP challenges him, he won't even be able to last 30 seconds. And then he says, the rumor is that DDP can't last 30 seconds with that hose bag, his old lady, which is obviously a reference to Kimberly Page. Also, hose bag is still a really weird way to call a woman a lady of the night. And it does make me laugh anytime someone says it, because I just think it's ridiculous. Anyways, and then Flair comes out.
But as soon as Ric Flair was somewhere in the building and he heard Hobag and he said, his spidey sense was tingling, so he's got to come out to recruit Kurt Hennig.
So he comes out, he celebrates Hennig again. And again, Hennig has now clearly aligned himself with the NWO. And Flair's just like, oh yeah, we're good. And Flair and the Four Horsemen have been fighting to be the whole freaking time. They've been fighting with the NWO, and he's just fine with the fact that this guy keeps helping the NWO and wants him in the Horsemen. Yep, that makes sense. I'm gonna give this a C.
I mean, Flair's just like, go ahead, finish, man.
I'm gonna give this a C. All right, I was gonna give this a higher grade because I actually do kind of like where this was going, like the Randy Savage stuff. I really enjoyed. But then you just have the weird problem where on one hand you have everything that Hennig is doing makes absolutely no sense, but the wrinkle of the Mach and DDP section I really enjoyed. So that's just kind of what happened. So I'm giving this a C. I liked a lot of it. I didn't like a lot of it. That's in the middle for me.
I mean, Ric Flair just says, you like hoe bags, I like hoe bags, put it there, brother. That's it, man. That's the story. I guess. I mean, what else could it be? I mean, seriously, because it's like Kurt Hennig has done nothing to warrant entrance in to the Four Horsemen.
Nope.
So it must just be that his and Ric Flair's peculiarities just kind of align a bit there, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it didn't because Rick was trying to get Rowdy to join, and he wasn't buying it, but maybe Kurt will.
Maybe.
Hour number 2. And we start off so hot. So hot. We go right into it. We got Lee Marshall on the 1-800-COLLECT road report. He's in Jackson, Florida, getting ready for Tuesday night Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday night Nitro. Like, what was that? Thursday Raw?
Monday night, it was like Monday night, Monday Raw or something like that. Yeah. I know what you're talking.
It was like on a Thursday.
Oh yeah,
they call it like
Thursday night, Monday
Raw
night Raw or something. Yeah.
But it's a Nitro on Tuesday. Tell me, Joseph.
Lee tells us about you said the next week's Tuesday Nitro, because it will be on a different week. Our podcast is gonna be the same. We're just gonna say it's on Tuesday and let you guys know. He also says we actually might want to do the Raw one first, just to see, because Nitro will be live. So they should have had time to react to what Raw did and be better than it. Anyways,
a little mirror.
Yeah. So,
whoa.
He also says that Jacksonville is the birthplace of a rear admiral whose name I couldn't make out, unfortunately. and also the birthplace of Pat Boone. He says, despite his new look, Pat Boone has rejected the heavy metal song Whippin' the Weasel. Now, this is actually a layered joke. Pat Boone is a big band lounge club style singer. These types of singers never wrote their own music. If you ever listen to people like Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, etc., all they did was they did their arrangements of the same songs. And so that's what really like separated them. They're not only their singing ability, but their ability to create arrangements and kind of manipulate how they wanted the song to sing in their style. As these singers got less and less famous over the years, what they would do to kind of maintain their standing is they would usually do like compilation albums of famous songs. So, for instance, Bing Crosby has an album called Hey Jude / Hey Bing. The album features hits from the late 60s rearranged to fit his style. His version of Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell is actually quite decent. So this is a common theme. That's the point of what I'm saying, is this is a common theme for those era singers. In 1997, Pat Boone, out of nowhere, came out with an album called In a Metal Mood, No More Mr. Nice Guy, where he did all heavy metal songs. Weird. It's apparently a gag gift these days for heavy metal enthusiasts. Funny enough, though, Richie Blackmore, guitarist of Deep Purple, and Ronnie James Dio, an all-time metal singer, are actually featured on the album. So even though it's weird and probably shouldn't have happened, he got legit people on it. So there you go. That being said, love the joke. Gets an A+ for me.
Out comes Kevin Nash. He's in a wheelchair, Joseph. He could not have possibly been that 7-foot-tall individual posing as Sting. Right?
Absolutely. And on top of that, he's got an important announcement. And the NWO has to help him stand for this. He is hamming up this injury. He can't make it to his own feet. And they help him up. It's a really, like you said, beautiful was the term you used, great moment of solidarity. His announcement is that Conan is in the NWO now.
There you go.
We knew. That's the announcement. And interestingly enough, this does lead right into our next match, which is Hall and Six versus Harlem Heat. Only reason I say that is because they don't have a new entrance. They just go to the ring. And then the Harlem Heat come out. And Nash, who's on a wheelchair, he goes down to the ring. He wants to watch the match firsthand. And even though he is hurt very badly, can barely stand, miraculously, he slams Booker, who then gets hit with an outsider's edge, and Hall wins. I'm giving this a C. I do actually like some of the things that Nash does here, but it's okay.
It's just, the fake injury thing I think is fun. Why immediately drop it on this unimportant match?
Right. Or do something fun with it, right? Like maybe he's got, I really like the angle where they have, the crutches. And so they got the crutches and then they take one of the crutches and smack them, right? So you could still crutch away because you've got another one still available. Like, I like things like that. There is other ways to do this where it's not like, oh, it's obvious that he is fine. Whatever.
More Nitro girls. And then, because the great Muta and Chono apparently have not flown back to Japan yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a 9-minute, 1-second match, by the way. But apparently, since Chono and Muta have not gone back to Japan yet, we're going to put them in a public enemy match. What? 6 minutes, 51 seconds. Tell me, Joseph.
So you remember earlier when I said, hey, when Chono and Muta interfered, and then it was the Steiners versus 2 tag teams, Public Enemy or someone like that should have even the odds. That would have worked perfectly in the storyline of your show, because then you have the Muta and Chono match versus Public Enemy. It's on the surface a pairing we never expected to see, but if you had done that segments ago, it would make a lot of sense. But they don't. So we get this. A surprisingly long match sees Muta poison mist grunge. Chono hits the Mafia kick and picks up the win. It's fine. Get to see.
And that leads us to our main event. It is the WCW US Champion Jeff Jarrett versus Ric Flair. And this is for the title. I mean, Ric Flair's got to win this thing, right? 5 minutes, 24 seconds. Tell me, Joseph.
This is another match where we don't know who the heel is in this situation. Flair and the Horsemen turned their back on Jarrett and then fought Piper, who Jarrett helped a few weeks ago. So this makes Jarrett a face, right? But then Jarrett, a homewrecker, and then he does all that heel stuff. So who's the heel? You have no idea. This is a good match, though, from both men. Flair pelvic thrust towards Deborah, which I did laugh about, even though I don't know if that was actually like in character. Anyways, Deborah cuts a promo into the camera mid-match and calls Mongo a has-been. Mongo comes out and shouts at her. Flair locks in the figure four, and Mongo and the Horsemen, Jarrett locks in the figure four, then Mongo and the Horsemen beat him up. Then it's just evolved. So like we had like a good match, and then it just becomes, hey, they're all attacking him. So I gave it a C.
And that brings us to our real main event, Joseph. I said that was the main event. I lied. Because the real main event is an interview with Lex Luger and Mean Gene.
Yeah.
So Lex comes out for an interview with Mean Gene about everything that happened at Bash at the Beach. And this can't end well. We ended with Lex on top last night. And as we know, Hogan's ego will not allow that. So tell me what happens, Joseph.
Lex says he has had a lot of low points in his career, but last night was one of his finest moments. He issues a challenge to Hogan to defend his title. The NWO come out, they surround the ring, and then fake Sting comes out. We can tell he's fake Sting. He's got a mask on. And then he pulls off, he goes in the ring, right into the ring, goes right past the NWO, pulls off the mask, and it's actual Sting. He's got the face paint underneath it. We love that spot.
Yeah, it's great.
It's one of the best
Do it a
spots
million
ever.
times.
Yeah, absolutely. The show closes, though, as NWO is too scared to attack. So I didn't really like that part, but I'm going to give it a B. It's pretty decent.
We're out. And we're going across the U.S. to the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas, which can only mean this is where Shawn Michaels is going to make his triumphant return to wrestling. He does not. That's a lie. I made that up. But let's talk about it. We got a video package talking about how beloved the Hart Foundation and Bret Hart are in Canada, but they don't think it's going to be that way here in Sean's hometown. Do they, Joseph?
They don't. They don't. And we immediately get the Hart Foundation coming out to do kind of an interview thing. It's really just them doing a promo. Bret Hart, my note here said Hart, but there's a number of them. Bret Hart puts down the Americans and reiterates that he said that if he loses at SummerSlam, he won't wrestle again on American soil. And Vince clarifies that Bret Hart specifically did not say if he loses. He said if he doesn't win the title at all, then he can't wrestle in the US anymore. And what this alludes to is that Bret can win via disqualification and not receive the title and still be forced out of the US. Bret Hart doubles down, saying, doesn't matter, I'm still going to win. Vin Man asks Owen about facing Austin, and Owen says he could give a damn. So it's nice to know there is damn to be had. Owen says that he and Bulldog will first bring back their tag titles, and at SummerSlam, Austin better get his bliss sticks ready because you're going to kiss butt. For clarity, that's what Austin said he would do if he lost. He also holds up bliss sticks, and I love that. Vin Man asked
Yes.
Bulldog about his
Good bit.
European championship against Ken Shamrock, and Bulldog tells us that he is WWF's strongest man, and that if he loses the title, he will eat a can of dog food after the match. Vin Man asks Pillman about Goldust, and Pillman calls Dusty Rhodes an ego-driven daddy who broke Dustin's heart, but he will rip out
do that again.
said heart. He says that if he loses, he will wear one of Marlena's dresses, although he says Marlena. Interesting. Vin Man asks Jim the Anvil Neidhart about being the enforcer, and he says that if any of the Hearts lose at SummerSlam, he will shave his goatee the next night on Raw. So we have all these weird items on the line in SummerSlam, and I kind of like it. Brett says Canadian women are prettier. Their money is prettier. Their sports are better. Their men are tougher, and that it's going to be a Canadian summer. Then Austin's music hits, and he stands at the ramp taunting the Hearts. Shamrock soon joins him in identical black trunks. I don't know if that was planned, but it's cool. Then we get the WWE Raw debut of the Patriot. Do the thing, Scott.
Ah!
Then Sid comes to the ramp and joins them. Finally, Shawn Michaels returns and also joins them as we head to commercial. 3 of these men were not even in this storyline, so that is an odd miss. However, this is like the kind of goofy that I like, so I found myself enjoying every minute of it. I gave it an A.
You see what I did there? I swerved him. I said, there's no way he makes his return. And then he did. They weren't expecting it. Look what I did.
Beautiful.
Beautiful thing. What isn't a beautiful thing? That was our first match. Because this is a rivalry we don't need. We don't want. It's the Putskis. Eisen Putski and Scott Putski versus the Lawlers. Brian Christopher and Jerry the King Lawler for 4 minutes, 55 seconds. Tell me about this barn burner.
Scott, you might be surprised to find out. I actually kind of like this match.
Oh my God. What?
It's weird because I went into this hoping that this was the blow off, but also there is a pay-per-view coming up, so I'm not sure if it is the blow off. Ivan Putski grabs a mic and says he loves being in San Antonio, and then sings My Melody of Love, which is a 1974 song by Bobby Vinton. This song is actually originally a German song called, and I'm going to butcher this, sorry, Ronnie, Herzenhaben kein Fenster, I think. I think that's what it's called. It means,
beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, it means hearts have no windows. So this, again, originally a German song. So I suppose it's nice that that Poland took something from Germany for once. Anyways, gang, I do actually think
oh my God. Man, talk about hanging Ronnie out to dry like that. After we devoted this episode and all future episodes to him.
Yes, absolutely. Love you, Ronnie. And I do actually think this is interesting, though. I do want to go into this because outside of the fact that Ivan Putski would sing the song in promos in his heyday, which he would do, you might think it's weird that he's singing this song in front of a Texas crowd. But actually, like you said, they're in San Antonio, which is directly north of San Antonio, one city over, is a town called New Braunfels, a large German and I suspect Eastern European populated town. If you want to go to like an Oktoberfest in the area, that's probably where you're going to go. By the way, Oktoberfest, in case that doesn't translate, it's one of our white people holidays here where you just drink a lot. New Braunfels is a popular place to do this. The other popular location is Fredericksburg, Texas, which is about an hour northwest of San Antonio and about an hour and a half west-northwest of me. It also looks like Putski resides in Central Texas, or at least he did pretty recently. And he most recently worked in a city called Buda, which is actually directly north of where I live. So I do think it's actually interesting. Like he actually has ties to this area of Texas. Didn't know that going in. So at first I was like, why would this crowd like him so much? There's actually a legit reason for it. Okay.
The Putskys are famous in San Antonio. Who knew?
Speaking of both those German towns, I've been to both of them, but if you really want to go to a very nice German town, go to Washington State and go to Leavenworth. Like, for instance, Scott, if you ever want to do like a couple's vacation in Leavenworth, I'd be freaking down. It's awesome, awesome, beautiful place. Anyways,
Prison?
No, no.
That's in Kentucky. Guys invited me to a military prison. Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, Jerry seems to have won this match on Scott Putski after a pile driver, but Brian Christopher stops him because he wants the victory. He wants to prove to his dad, I got the victory. I got this. Jerry agrees, and Brian goes up to the top rope for his leg drop. The delay allows Scott to move out of the way. Brian accidentally kicks Jerry, and Scott tags in Ivan. Ivan, who is 56 at this time, which in 1997 wrestling terms means he's 187 years old. Man can still go. He hits a flurry of offense and finishes Lawler off with the Polish hammer for the win. I really actually like how they laid out this match. I'm giving it a B+.
It's not a bad match. I just don't think it should exist.
Yes, I'm right there with you. But maybe because my expectations were so low, fucking low.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Jerry is a good in-ring worker.
Yes.
Ivan Putski is a good in-ring worker, even at his old age. Yeah. Jerry does one of the nicest looking pile drivers in the game. It's a good match. I just don't understand why this rivalry needs to happen. It's just very clear that, like, I don't know, maybe Jerry and Ivan have a rivalry in the day, maybe?
I don't recall, but let us know.
And they were like, oh, we got Scott Putski and we got Brian Christopher Lawler. It's like, well, let's bring back that storied rivalry. I don't know. I don't recall that happening. I didn't bother to look it up. So who knows?
Yeah.
But after that, we go back to the war zone because we got to find out there was an Austin Triple H match. Hunter hit Mankind with a chair. Then Hunter got stunned, and it went wild. And that leads us to an interview with Mankind backstage. It was a wild string of events, Joseph. We got to know how Mankind feels about it.
We do. Vin Man asked Mankind about his comments last week, if you remember. After he got hit with the chair and all that stuff, he did kind of help Austin win that match. And Austin was like, hey, you know what? We can be tag team partners. They hugged. It was beautiful. And then Austin stunned him and was like, don't trust anyone. And I'm never going to tag with you, you freak. So Mankind was like, I'm about to do something drastic. He said it on mic. So Vin Man wants to know what he meant. And Mankind chooses to say nothing. Apparently he saw what Raven was doing over there and said, I like it. And then we head to commercial. Unlike what Raven was doing over there, I actually think this works. I'm giving this a B.
Yes, and I'm going to go back because I have to clarify the record because we are fact based here at the Monday Night Wars, and I think I messed up the chain of events in that kind of complicated chain of events. Helmsley hits Mankind with a chair. He gets turned around. He gets stunned. I think I said Helmsley got stunned. I think it's Mankind that actually got stunned.
They both get stunned.
Yeah, everybody getting stunned. But I want to make sure that you knew Mankind also got a stunner. Just to make sure that everything was clear. And now we move to something that's not so clear.
Good. I'm glad that was if you didn't hit it, I was going to hit it.
Yeah. Because we got Paul Bearer, and he told JR that we were going to get some big news. What's going on, Joseph? What's the big news?
Well, Bearer addresses The Undertaker, who he says has hurt Kane, and Kane has been in hell for the last 20 years. Kane waits to confront him, and next week, Paul Bearer will prove that Kane exists. This is not the best Paul Bearer segment, but it just kind of moves along. It's setting up for next week. It's going to be a bigger one. I'm giving it a B.
Undertaker's a murderer. Just any chance I can do that.
Yeah.
Because I just love it. I love it. After that, WWF has been seeing this cruiserweight stuff going on over on the WCW. Says we got to have some of that. So we've got mainstay on the roster now. It seems like he's here to stay. Taka Michinoku, who we love, versus Yasuhiro Tajiri. Because I know this one.
You do.
Because I like him. Because
Yeah.
I know Tajiri. Tell me, Joseph.
This is not a WWF Raw debut, unfortunately, so you can't do the thing, but that's okay. I love Tajiri. You love Tajiri. He isn't yet the man we come to know and love, but he will very soon have a run in ECW that is highly lauded against, I believe, Super Crazy. In fact, very interesting. Before he comes back to the WWF in 2001. Now, he obviously has a lot of, Japanese, New Japan, things like that ties. Unfortunately, my knowledge of Japanese wrestling is not nearly as good as my knowledge of American and Canadian-based wrestling. So I don't know if he had a great run before that. I just know about the ECW one. This, though, is a fun match and really the only actually comparable to WCW cruiserweights type match. If you've noticed, they've done a lot of this is our light heavyweight division, and the match is not only two nobodies, but two nobodies who aren't very good. This is two people who we technically, from a standpoint of having not really watched them, don't know very well, but they're both great. So we get a really fun match. Taka Michinoku wins with the Michinoku driver. If you remember, the great Sasuke, as they say, but it is the great Sasuke, was supposed to be their guy, ends up not being their guy. Reasons are unclear. You gave a reason the other week, the belief that he wanted to only drop a title in Japan. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's a theory. Anyways, Taka Michinoku becomes their guy. Crowd loves him, so they said, yeah, let's do it. He wins Michinoku driver. It's a fun match. I'm giving it a very solid B.
We like ourselves a Michinoku driver, so happy to see it. Taka's going to become a mainstay, and we are here for it. Then we go to the locker room because Ken Shamrock's got something to tell us. And what he has to tell us is that he is not Steve Austin's part.
Yeah. This is kind of a recurring theme on the night. Different people will get asked if they're Steve Austin's partner, and they all say, no, I'm not. So he also does say, though, he was just out earlier because he was in support of being against the Hearts, not in support of Austin. He also lets Jim the Anvil Neidhart know that because they have a match later on, he needs to knuckle up. It's honestly short. It's simple. I like it. Gets a B.
Then we go backstage. Well, I mean, I guess we're already backstage, but we go even further back. We go to the parking garage, the parking lot, because Los Barras, did I say that right?
Oh,
Arrived. What is it?
Los Boricuas.
Boricuas. Whatever, man. I don't care. Arrive at the Freeman Coliseum in a lowrider. It's pretty cool looking. It's a nice looking lowrider.
Yeah.
And they are here, which is what we need. Los Boricuas. I'm never gonna get that right.
That was right. That's right.
It still felt wrong.
I mean, it was white, but it was right. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's the way I got to do it. I just got to get really, really white about it. Los Boricuas.
There you go. Love it.
All right. Which is totally out of form for me because I really lean into Chavo and Juventud, I let it rip, man.
That's actually pretty interesting. You do go all out on those. And this one, nah.
This one just doesn't flow right on my tongue. I don't know. Anyways, we got an ad for the magazine. It's about whether Brian Pillman's allegiance is really with the Hart Foundation, which doesn't seem like an angle that really goes anywhere. But they mention it like they're trying to create an angle here. And then we got the Headbangers comparing Los Boricuas to Cheech and Chong.
Yes, they do.
They've seen a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to our match, which is the Headbangers versus Miguel Perez and Jose Estrada Jr. And that match is 4 minutes, 26 seconds.
Miguel Perez wins this with a roll up, and then the Headbangers fight him, but Bariquas just beat them up, and then DOA comes out and they fight the Bariquas, and then it's just, we're going to get a lot of this over the next few weeks. Like, one team is kind of in a match, goes to hell, the other team comes out, everyone starts throwing down. It's what I'm giving it a C. It's not horrible. I don't hate it. It hasn't run its course yet, but this is going to be a repeated thing.
Then we go to the Patriot, who is also not Stone Cold Steve Austin's partner. He just likes beating up people that are down on America. And I say, God bless him. And I will also email him Joseph's address. Tell me about this, Joseph.
There's actually nothing else to say beyond that. I gave it a C. It's short and sweet as well. Patriot's a weird one because I kind of like Patriot, but I kind of don't like Patriot. I don't know. It's weird. Like, sometimes I'm really into him. Sometimes I'm like, how do they think this is going to work? I honestly think that the Patriot Del Wilkes and no mask would have been much better. But okay.
They just don't really use him right. Like, it makes sense for him to have a rivalry with the Hearts, right? Because the Hearts are on this anti-American kick. Like, it seems right, but they just don't do it very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good rivalry.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. Well, and plus the Hearts have a rivalry right now.
Yeah. A number of
They
them.
should have cleared up some of these rivalries and then brought the Patriot in to have a new rivalry. But that's fine. This next segment, though, I'm not going to say a whole lot about because I'm going to let you give it your all.
Okay.
Because Vince brings out Shawn Michaels for his triumphant return.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your lover boy's return, Joseph.
Shawn Michaels, as you may remember, has been suspended by WWF storyline-wise, but he actually left the company, still under contract, but walked out. He is now back. Him and Vince have patched things up, so he introduces HBK to the hometown crowd, and he asks if HBK will be Austin's partner in the main event. And HBK says that is the $1 million question, because if you remember, they did win those titles together. He says it's no secret that he is not 100%, but the last time they tagged up, neither of them was 100%, so he's good enough to go right now. He says that is up to Austin, however, which I kind of like. Like, hey, I haven't been around. You decide if I'm on your team. I kind of like that. He says, as he said at home, though, he noticed that his buddy and yours, Bret the Hitman Hart, tell everyone that if he did not win the WWF title at SummerSlam, he will never wrestle on U.S. soil again. Shawn says he has been waiting a long time to see Bret Hart's sorry ass get out of the United States of America. He says he is currently not scheduled to appear at SummerSlam. That isn't his decision. It's somebody else's around here. And then he kind of just looks at Vin Man, which is funny. He says, if I could appeal to you, boss man, if I get down on my knees in front of my hometown people to beg you to please let me, the dirty, rotten employee that I am, just be part of SummerSlam. I'll set up the ring. I'll sell souvenirs at the souvenir stand. I'll sell tickets at the front door. Vin Man, I'll shine your shoes if you'll just grant me one ticket to SummerSlam. But my guess is that The Undertaker is going to bury Bret Hart and run him out of this country. And Shawn Michaels wants to see Bret Hart get the hell out of here. This is a good babyface promo from Shawn. Importantly, all of his shots against Bret Hart are storyline based, not personal based, which I really like. He also has a slight edge to him all of a sudden. This will come into play over the next few months. And even the next few weeks, we're going to see some really good Shawn promos. The kind of phoning it in Shawn seems to have gone away, and we're starting to get a fun Shawn. I like this a lot. I gave it an A.
Of course you would.
I've given Shawn a bad
good.
grade. Get out of here.
It's good, Shawn. It's good, Shawn. I'm not going to lie and say it isn't. We go into hour number 2. I know it's hour number 2 because we got Jerry on commentary now, and he will stay there giving his words of wisdom for the rest of the night. Then Savio Vega comes out, and he grabs the cameraman because he's got stuff to say. There's been an accident backstage. Tell me about this, Joseph.
Yeah. He's
I
screaming.
I kind of like this.
I do too. This is the segment that I was alluding to a few weeks ago, and I was like, there is something they do that I kind of really like. So he's screaming to the camera. There's a terrible accident. There's a terrible accident. Please come to the back. You have to see. He shows this terrible accident, which is actually them hitting one of DOA's bikes with a trash can.
Yes.
That's the accident. DOA and Los Boricuas start fighting before Boricuas drive off. This is stupid, but I really, really like it. I'm giving it a very solid B.
Well, not only do they drive off, but they've chained one of DOA's motorcycles
true.
to their lowrider, and they're dragging the motorcycle off. And DOA goes running after it because it's like they're stealing their motorcycle. And this is a good angle. This is good heat. I like this. I don't really like this rivalry overall, but like this one segment, I'm like, that's pretty good. I like that. Ken Shamrock versus Jim Neidhart, because I got no segue. Maybe to say it's pretty good. I liked it.
It's all right.
4 minutes, 41 seconds.
Shamrock wins a decent match. Like you said, it's decent. With a rear naked chokehold when Bulldog attacks him from behind and the Patriot runs in to help him out. That's pretty much all that happens. Like you said, it's pretty decent. Gave it a C+.
Again, Vince wants to talk with Mankind, but Mankind's got nothing to say. You want to add to that? I mean, that's pretty much it. But you got anything?
That is it. I didn't grade this one. It's the exact same segment we had, but again, it works.
That brings us to our next match, which is Legion of Doom versus the New Blackjacks. And let's see what time we got on this. Nothing, because it's immediately interrupted. Tell me, Joseph.
During Legion of Doom's entrance, the Godwins attack them from behind with steel chairs. They slop drop Hawk, which is just wild. Say that 5 times fast, on the ramp, and the back of his head gets busted open. This is not intentional. It's just what happened. The match gets canceled, gets thrown out, and I'm giving it a B. I kind of like this. I get what they're doing, right? You injured us. We're going to force you into retirement. I like it. It's a good angle, even though I'm not really a fan of the Godwins. Giving it a B.
And legitimately gets the back of his head busted open.
Yeah.
Which becomes a storyline. Then we got Vader and Flash Funk. May God rest Flash Funk's soul. He gonna get jobbed out here. 4 minutes, 11 seconds.
Flash Funk puts up a surprising fight against Vader, leaping to the outside on him and throwing him into the steel steps. Vader doesn't really like this, though, so he begins to beat him. But again, Funk fights back. Finally, Vader power bombs him and picks up the win. Post-match, Funk gets Vader bombed. Honestly, Flash Funk got way more offense than I expected in this. I liked it. I gave it a B.
Yeah, it's a fine match, but you knew going into it,
Yeah.
Flash Funk wasn't
Yeah.
gonna win it.
You talk about Flash Funk getting jobbed out. He's going to get really jobbed out in a few weeks.
That just kind of that's kind of what becomes a Flash Funk, unfortunately. I like him. I think he's a good wrestler, but I think his gimmick is a relic of a previous era of WWF, and he just doesn't work anymore. I wish they would have done something with him, maybe put him in the Nation or something to kind of switch it up. But because I like him, I think he's a good wrestler. It's just this Flash Funk don't work in the attitude in the burgeoning attitude era. But what does work is letting Steve Austin talk, because that always is perfection. And Vince is talking to Stone Cold Steve Austin and wants to know what he thinks of Mankind being his partner.
Austin says, I don't really care who's involved in the matchup. I don't guess Shawn Michaels is 100%. And I know what that's all about because I ain't been 100% for the last damn year. Mankind talks about doing drastic measures. He can talk all he wants to because getting out of bed every morning is a drastic measure for me. Bottom line is this. Ain't no way I'm walking out of San Antonio without the World Tag Team belts, and that's the bottom line. It's a much smaller Austin promo, but it is very good. Hits all the notes it needs to, gets an A.
And I like this because this is kind of funny because WCW just had a terrible mystery partner storyline, and WWF now has a pretty good one because it's not obvious who the partner is, right? We've eliminated a couple of them. We eliminated Ken Shamrock, we eliminated the Patriot, but Sean said maybe Mankind won't answer questions, and we haven't seen Psycho Sid since the beginning. He's still around somewhere, so
Well,
it could be.
And specifically, Mankind got beat up by Austin. So by all accounts, he's the least likely person to be the mystery partner.
Oh, I feel like you're leading up to something here. So let's get into it. Because we got our tag team match, which is the Hart Foundation, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, versus Stone Cold Steve Austin and a mystery partner. Who could it be, Joseph? For 9 minutes of nonstop action.
Well, Austin runs out solo and just starts wailing on Owen and Bulldog. The official allows the match to go on while Austin has no partner. As Austin is getting beat up, we start to hear music play. We see white boots strutting from backstage, and then we head to commercial. We come back to commercial, and on the Titantron, we see Dude Love, who makes his WWF debut. Do the thing, Scott!
Ah! I kind of feel like I kind of feel like this, though, is kind of like Gene Parmesan in Arrested Development, where it's Mick Foley. It's Gene Parmesan. Watch Arrested Development if you folks haven't. It's a great show.
Great show.
You'd get that joke. But yes, it is technically a debut. It is Dude Love.
So he says, you wouldn't team with Mankind, but you said nothing about Dude Love. I'm coming to save the day. Oh, have mercy. I love when he does that. Dude Love struts to the ring. Austin is confused, but he works with Dude Love for tag team moves. They start working like a cohesive unit. Owen has the ref distracted when Austin capitalizes on this and hits a stunner on Bulldog, and Dude Love pins him for the win. JR with the great call as he shouts, Mrs. Foley's baby boy is a champion in the World Wrestling Federation. Dude Love is handed the tag title from Earl Hebner, but he hands it instead to Austin as he isn't officially Austin's partner. Austin stares at Dude Love, flummoxed as Dude Love is getting smooched on by babes, and Austin hands him the title back, then shakes his hand. The crowd loves it. Dude Love is so over, and Foley is a god. It gets an A+.
It's fantastic. This is the level of stupid we love.
Yes.
We gotta have it. And you can tell Steve Austin, when he's looking at it, he is trying so hard to keep character because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we all know it's ridiculous. And he's trying not to laugh because, Dude Love's out there. He's strutting. He's doing the fingers. He's doing all that nonsense. And it's Mick Foley. It's just hilarious that he's just, Dude Love is this Shawn Michaels stud kind of character, but Mick Foley.
Yes.
And it's fantastic. I love it. And I love how they're playing it straight. Because like you said, at the end, the beautiful babes come out and they're kissing on him. And he seems like it's the summer of love.
Yes.
And I'm here for it. And we've got some great tag team action with Stone Cold and Dude Love. Now our tag team champions. I love it. You love it. I'm going to ask you who won the Monday Night Wars tonight. I know the answer, but we got to ask who won.
Raw won.
I have been the contrarian of late and disagreeing with you and giving it to Nitro, but I cannot, in good faith, give it to Nitro tonight because we've got Dude Love, and I love it. So yeah, Raw wins it. It's a good one. It's a fun night on Raw. Nitro is not bad. It's
Right.
not terrible,
Correct. Yeah.
but it's also got some glaring flaws.
Yeah.
It's Raw, baby. Dude love. Dude love. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.